This is a video on how to factor using the X method. The first thing you always want to do when factoring is looking for the GCF. So is there any number I can divide 2, 3, and 9 by? And in this case, there's not. There's no GCF. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label what A, B, and C is. A is 2, B is -3, and C is -9. Then I'm going to draw my X. The first thing you do is slide, so 2 times -9, and that's going to go on top, -18. On the bottom is the B value, so -3. So my question that I have to figure out is what multiplies to get the top one, multiplies to get -18, and adds to get -3. If I don't know what those numbers are off the top of my head, I'm going to make a little box, a little chart of all of the factors of 18. So 18 is 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 4 and 5 don't work, so that's all of my factors. So then which ones add or subtract to -3? And my only ones that would add or subtract to -3 would be the 3 and the 6. So I know I'm going to use 3 and 6, and one of them has to be negative. The only way I'm going to get a -3 out is if my 6 is negative. So now I know that I can use those two numbers, 3 and -6, as to write inside the parentheses. So I have x plus 3 and x minus 6. My next step is to always divide by the a value. So here's my a value. And I'm going to take this and divide my numbers by the a value. Then I need to reduce if I can. So I can't reduce 3 over 2, so I just leave it as x plus 3 divided by 2. But then 6 divided by 2 I can reduce to 3. My last step is called bottoms up, because I take this bottom number and I move it to the front. So I get 2x plus 3, x minus 3. And I am done with that problem. That is my answer. If I wanted to check my work, I can always multiply this back out, and I'll show you that. If I multiplied this back out, I would get 2 times x, which is 2x squared, 2 times -3, which is -6x, 3 times x, which is 3x, and 3 times -9, which is -9. 3 times -3, which is -9. Then I combine my like terms right here, and I get 2x squared minus 3x minus 9. And when I do that, if I have the right answer, then the answer I just got and the answer I started with should be the same. And they are, so I know for sure I did it right. Here is our second problem to factor. Again, the first thing we always want to do is check for a GCF. And in this case, there is a GCF. GCF means what number can I divide each of the numbers by. And in this case, our GCF is 6, because I can divide every number by 6 and still get a whole number. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Take all of them and divide it by 6. The 6 is going to come on the outside. And inside, I'm left with 3x squared minus 2x minus 1. This is the problem that I'm going to work with now. Okay, the 6 just comes along for the ride. I'm not going to use it in figuring anything out. It's just going to come down. So my next step is to do the x. or I can label what my A value is 3, my B value is -2, and my C value is -1. So when I fill in my X, I'm going to do the slide, the 3 times -1, A times C, which gives me -3. And then in the bottom goes B, which is -2. And I need to figure out what two things are going to multiply to -3 and add to -2. And in this case, -3 and a +1 is going to be what multiplies and adds to those two numbers. So I'm going to fill those in, x minus 3, x minus 2. Then my next step is to divide by my A value. So here's my A value is 3. So I'm going to divide everything by 3 and reduce if I can. So x minus 1, and I can't reduce 2 over 3. So then I need to do bottoms up, take the 3, move it to the front of the x. So I get x minus 1, 3x minus 2. And something I can't forget to do that most people always forget is to bring down the GCF. And that is my answer.